Well, millions of Americans will feel a financial hit they haven't felt in years: student loan repayments. But there is still time for Arizona borrowers to take action. I'm joined now by Jack Wallace with Yrefy. Jack, thanks for being here, and tell us about this upcoming deadline, if you will.
Brian, great to be with you and with your viewers. Next week, on Monday in particular, those borrowers that are in default in their federal student loan are going to be in for a surprise. They're going to hear from the federal government, and they're going to be subject to what we call the TOPS program, which is the Treasury offset program to get them to repay their federal student loans. We have over 900,000 federal student loan borrowers here in Arizona alone that owe about $33 billion. And that's about $36,000 on average per Arizona borrower. So it's important not to keep your head in the sand and ignore this stuff. Forgiveness is not coming, and we're going back to repayment as normal. I mean, we've been in repayment since October of 2023. People started to be reported to the credit bureaus earlier this year, which they hadn't been since March of 2020. And now those that are not only delinquent but defaulted are going to be in for a new round of Treasury offset programs depending upon their status. So the most important thing to do is for the borrowers to communicate with their servicers. If they don't know who their servicer is, and they should know because they've been getting emails or snail mail from them since October 2023, they should go to myed.ed.gov to find out if you're in default, what are the various things that you can do to get out of default. Now, if you're delinquent, which means you're about 91 plus days delinquent, we've got about 5 million people across the country that are currently in default. We have about 4 million people that are in delinquency 91 plus days. If you're delinquent and you don't want to get into that default bucket, you should go to studentaid.gov. And one, if you haven't consolidated your federal student loans, consolidate them into one loan. If you have consolidated your loan, sign up for an income-driven repayment program using the calculators that are on that website so that you can get a manageable monthly payment so that you don't wind up in default.
So that's a possibility, Jack. If I have defaulted on one of these loans, I reach out to them. What's it going to look like as I move forward?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do. One of the things that, if you have the ability to make payments now and some other reason caused your being in default, you can get into the federal government's rehabilitation program, which permits you to make 9 out of 10 on-time monthly payments and get back into good graces. And if you get back into good graces, you'll be deemed to be current. And if you want to go back to school, you'll be able to qualify for federal student aid, whether it's a federal student loan or a Pell Grant or some sort of federal student aid.
Jack, COVID-19, the elephant in the room with these repayments, has it been like the past few years?
Well, it's, people have been spending money, not saving it. I mean, if you look at, you've got about 46 million people that own about $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. And what they've been doing is they've not been in repayment since March of 2020. So the graduates of 2020, 21, 22, 23, they never made a payment.
Wow.
And so you've got a situation where people are not used to making payments. They listened for 4 years to the Biden-Harris administration tell them about how their loans were going to be forgiven at $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000. The courts have ruled in 4 instances, including the Supreme Court, the Federal Court of Appeals, and 2 district courts, that Biden did not have the power to create these forgiveness programs. It must be done through an act of Congress and then signed by the president. And in fact, you may see, Brian, as early as tomorrow, when the House Education and Workforce Committee gets to work, they're going to start talking about federal student loans and may create a new repayment program going forward.
Jack, as we wrap it up, just what are your main takeaways real quick people need to pay attention to?
Don't put your head in the sand. Call your servicer, get online, and go to the website for the U.S. Department of Education and get back into repayment, because you signed up for a federal student loan, not for a grant.
Jack Wallace with Yrefy. Jack, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, and good luck to your viewers.
Thank you.